Can I admit something? I have no idea how to wear this shirt. Hello and welcome to today's video. I have an exciting palette related video to bring you today. As always, a little bit late because we're well into fall, but I figured I would hold up my child's play bin full of palettes and tell you about my 10 palettes that I'm excited to use this fall. Okay, as we get started with these fall palettes, admittedly, most of my collection I feel like is geared towards more fall colors. Historically, I've been very drawn to like warm browns, oranges, reds. I just feel more comfortable in those tones. So I could have picked a lot of palettes for this video. However, I narrowed it down to 10. A couple of these are like my tried and true things that I am excited to reach for, have historically enjoyed reaching for. And then a good bit of these are actually palettes that are newer to me that I'm really excited to use this fall in particular. So I'll start out with the ones that are older. In particular, I have 4 older palettes that I just still adore to this day. I'll start with my Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. Just a beautiful palette, lots of warm tones. I really love this red, obviously. This like sparkly shade here is absolutely stunning. The green, really fun. And then also occasionally, even though I'm not historically comfortable in blues, this is a blue that I have enjoyed wearing in the past. So I can't not mention this palette. Another really good, or the first really good fall palette that I'm mentioning in this video. Okay, palette number 2 for me is another really good favorite from like the vault. I love this palette. I love the color story. I still to this day find it inspirational. A little bit harder to work with, no doubt, because the shades, some of these shades are very deep. I know. As you hear my little one, she really actually wants to hold this palette, which is not going to happen at the moment. But this is the Subculture palette from ABH. Bless you. Bless you. And like I said, just an absolutely stunning fall palette. And again, to this day, I know I've already said it, to this day, I still find the color story inspirational. The greens, the bronzy tones in there, really love that one. Item number 3, or palette number 3 for this video, I have to mention the Nomad palette by Juvia's Place. I love this palette. I think for a little like 9-pan palette, it is smart, curated. You can get a variety of looks. You can get some yellow, you can get some straight, more warm, neutral tones out of it. The greens in this palette I find to be very unique compared to a lot of other greens in my palette because they're very yellow based greens, which is really cool. And I really enjoy this palette. That stunning like gold in the middle is just, it's really universal. It's very good shade for that palette, and just also to pair with other palettes in my collection. And then number 4, we have the Natasha Denona gold palette. Of course I was going to mention this palette here. Just another gorgeous warm tone gold palette, perfect for fall. And again, I'm not typically drawn to kind of tealish, turquoise-ish. What my brain is blanking as to like the description of these kind of bluey greens. But I can pull these off surprisingly, and they don't like wash me out. They're just really solid choices for this palette. I do wish that this palette had like one true green like matte in it, but all in all, great palette. I'm hoping that she brings this out in the midi version because I really enjoy that palette. And I know I've heard rumor that they might discontinue it, so hopefully it comes back in the midi size. Okay, as we move into the remaining 10 palettes, I actually have 11, one bonus one that I'll mention at the end. These are all palettes that are relatively newer to me, all acquired, I believe, this year, or maybe at the end of last year. And these are just items that I'm excited to reach for this year. I think they have really good, solid, like fall color stories. I'll start with Plush Like Me. I got this in a ColourPop mystery box, so I wouldn't probably have picked this out for myself, but again, I think the color story is a really solid fall palette. Kind of thing. It's got a lot more mattes, it's more of a 90s, it is a 90s theme palette, but I find it really inspirational, and I hope to, at least for fall, get some use out of it. And so that one is number 5, palette number 5 for this video. Palettes number 6 and 7 we'll talk about together. These are kind of companion palettes. One is the Mandalorian palette, one is the Darth Vader palette. I picked these up because I'm a little bit of a Star Wars fan with my husband mostly, and so this guy here I think is my favorite out of the two. The Mandalorian palette, I think it's a little bit more wearable than the Darth Vader palette, but it's got some solid kind of more cool tone fall options, plus that yellow. It's still got a lot of warmth in it, but then this guy here definitely leans more cool tone than the Mandalorian palette. And again, just some fun options for fall that are different than your standard like warm brown, if that makes sense. Okay, moving into palette number 8. This guy I took on vacation with me in June, surprisingly, even though I'm talking about it in a like fall palette kind of lineup thing. This palette is really, really good from ColourPop. This is the Lust for Dusk palette. I believe it was their fall release last year, and it's just a solid palette. You can pull, I know, you can pull looks from this palette that obviously fit like summer. I was pulling lots of like warm colors for like that tan kind of glow during the summer, and at the same time I was like, I like all of my looks so much that I can't wait for like fall and kind of pull those looks just a little deeper and more sultry for the fall. And I have to like rave that like every palette, every look that I did with this palette this past summer for a solid 10 days, I really loved. So I have to shout this one out. This one was a surprise to me. And then the last two in this lineup are the newest ones to me. One of them I'll start with is the Nouveau palette from ABH. I'm wearing this today. I stinking love this like color story. I knew I would. That's why I like wanted it so bad. I know I love the ABH formula, and this color story really spoke to me. I haven't worn it a ton, but I'm so excited to reach for these greens. And then today I kind of did more of this like copper kind of thing. This shade here, stunning. I'm going to talk more in an upcoming video. I'm hoping to be able to push out some videos where I give like at least 3 looks and like a little mini review for a bunch of new palettes in my collection. And so hopefully this one will be up relatively sooner compared to some other palettes that are coming down the pipeline as well. And then item number 10 is my Pat McGrath Mothership. This is the newest one, the Mothership. I think it's the 10th one. I don't quite know. Mine's a little bit beat up, but that's okay. It's still stunning. It's very cool though. Sorry, let me hand off this bucket because she really wants this bucket. This one is very like warm still in some ways. Like it's got a beautiful gold that Pat McGrath is always known for, but some of these shades can go a little bit warm or they can still go a little bit cool. I don't know, I just find that those shades are a little bit unique. This one's obviously more cool tone, this one's a little bit more warm tone, and I'm just really enjoying them. I will swatch the special shades for you because I feel like every video I watch, if someone pulls out a Pat McGrath palette and they don't swatch the special shades, I secretly kind of judge them. So I'll do that today. Okay, hopefully there you can see those special shades. I think honestly my favorite one is this guy here, the multi-chrome. The golds, probably like one of the most wearable golds in my entire collection. Stunning. And then I haven't been able to use this one in a look yet, but I'm really excited to. It's it looks chunky when I swatch it on my fingers, but when I pat it onto my skin, it's definitely more of like a clear base, so it kind of stumps me in some ways. But I really want to figure out how to wear that one in the fall because I am drawn to kind of purpley tones, even though not a lot of these are purpley tones, I realize. But yeah, but not like too bright, I guess. Purple tones are like saved specifically for like Halloween week, and then I tend to pull a lot more orange and burgundy and like warm browns, if that makes sense. And greens, I can't forget greens. Now, moving into my last palette. This one technically is item number 11 for this video. I didn't count it in the 10 items because I technically have not worn this one yet. Not in a real look. I think I've like messily put it on right before I wash my face at night a couple times, but I've been so excited to wear this that I've been saving it, and now I realize that I've had this for months and I have not worn it yet, which is literally should be against the law. So we have the Melt Gemini palette, and this palette is stunning. I love the warm yellowy oranges like over here on this side, and then the greens. I'm going to wear this week. I promise myself, I promise you. But anyways, yes, that's everything for today's video. I hope you enjoyed my 10/1 bonus fall palettes that I'm excited to reach for. Let me know in the comment section what you are excited to use this fall, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. Want to say bye? Bye.